poetry. Originally, we did it a few days ago for Shakespeare's birthday, and now we're just kind of opening it up a little. So I've found some more poems and different genres, different themes, friendship, love, enjoying the present, things like that, which we talk about in yoga as well. So it all kind of thematically comes together. Let's start at the back of our mat in child's pose. Centering, grounding, arriving. Normal breathing. Exhale, starting to leave the rest of our day behind us. Anchoring ourselves to the present with just the sensation of our hands on the mat, forehead, our knees. Good and strong support of our Mother Earth. Child's pose. If you're new to yin, we do hold poses for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, some for 5 or more. Every instructor will be different depending on the flow they want to achieve. The main thing is to find as much stillness as you can in the body. Resist the urge to move, squirm about. So you don't want to enter a position at 100% like you would in a power class. Slowly ease into it, maybe starting at say 60% or 70%, and then just letting gravity and time ease you further into the pose. It's also meant to help us still the mind, calm our thoughts. So yin is often said to be the yoga of the mind. Prepare to leave this pose by looking forward and up the mat, rising onto our hands, strong arms as we bring the torso forward on the inhale, and then back to child's pose on exhale, moving back. One more time, inhale forward, and exhale back. So let's find ourselves in our first yin pose of the afternoon by bringing the right foot forward, fixing the leg, the front of the leg to be parallel to the front of the mat. The left knee will be behind the right foot. This is our deer pose. Yeah. So the both legs look like this, right? What is that? Half the letter T. All right. So from this pose, let's go ahead and find our left arm, bring it to the right side, or to the right knee. The right hand will go up high to the sky. Inhale and exhale slowly towards the left side, doing the big stretch in the ribs. short poem. One more note about yin yoga. There's something called orbiting of the breath. When you inhale, you can try to imagine the breath as it moves throughout the body, maybe from the bottom of the lungs to the top. Exhale from top to bottom as you empty. Some people like to imagine themselves glowing with each inhale, exhale. Like a firefly. So try these various techniques and see which one works well for you. You can also imagine your breath going to that area that you want to swerve about and move. Because you say, oh, my arm's falling asleep. And if it does get painful, you can, of course, exit the pose or bring your hand to the back of your neck. Last minute or so remaining, let's jump into our first poem. Hold the pose even though not moving. My Heart Leaps Up by William Wordsworth. My heart leaps up when I behold a rainbow in the sky. So was it when my life began. So is it now I am a man. So be it when I shall grow old or let me die. The child is father of man, and I wish my days to be bound each to each by natural piety. Reflection, chanting of the gardener in life, different stages. Got less than half a minute. Inhale the right hand back up to the sky, and exhale, bring it to the ground. Maybe find yourself with both hands on the ground, easing up the feeling in our hips. And then right now what we're practicing is something called rebounding, where after we hold a pose, when you come out of the pose, you kind of want to sit in a neutral position and feel for any reverberation in the body from that pose. Let the blood come back to where it should be, depending on the pose. And so that's what we do between poses in the yin. Alright, preparing for our next pose. With your hands strong on the floor, the mat, wherever they might be. Prop yourself up. Bring your right leg out. Left leg all the way straight back. So we're setting up for a half frog with the right leg. The knee, check that your knee and ankle are in one line. And you can start with your arms straight, just like we would in a cobra. Inhale and then exhale your way down to your forearms, like it stings. You want to find a suitable position here, the support of your arms and elbows. Find some stillness. Still holding up the structure of the body and the muscles, ligaments, bones and joints kind of melt and open up. punching back, hanging vertically, the way it should, is how we normally operate. But when you bring that punching back horizontally, the middle will sag down. That's what's happening right now. Our ligaments, our bones, our joints, muscles, to help open up the fascia, bring healing to the body. Very subtle movements, we're not moving much, but you might feel this later tonight. I woke up the next day from being with an interesting feeling in my legs and knees. The last minute remaining. Let's jump into a quick little poem here. The World is Too Much With Us by William Wordsworth. The world is too much with us, late and soon, getting and spending, we lay waste our powers. Little we see in nature that is ours. We have given our hearts away in a sordid boon. This sea that bears our bosom to the moon, the winds that will be howling at all hours, and are upgathered now like seeded flowers. For this, for everything, we are out of tune. It moves us not. Great God, I'd rather be a pagan snuggled in a creed outworn. So might I, standing on this pleasant lea, have glimpses that will make me less forlorn, like sights of Proteus rising from the sea. Or hear old Tyson glow with his breathing horn. Laptop fell asleep with the last one I couldn't find my mouse. Alright, let's prepare for our next pose. Preparing to inhale deep into the body, and every cell, straightening our arms. We're going to bring our left hand out to the side and thread it under and through the right arm. Under and through as much as we can, bringing the left shoulder to the mat, left hand with the palm facing up towards the sky. As we roll over towards our back, opening up the chest to the ceiling. Find full relaxation in our shoulders, our hips. It's not easy because this is an intense pose. Remember, you don't have to go all the way. Find something you can hold for the next 3 or 4 minutes. You have options here. You bring the left hand to the right knee. You can catch your left foot with the right hand. Let the cat grab its tail. Wherever you are, find stillness in the body. Remember the orbiting of the breath. Feeling the breath travel through the body. While we're here, jump into our poem. This time by Maya Angelou. It's called Alone. It is a reflection of us that we all need somebody. Help and support. Cannot get through this life alone. Lying, thinking last night, how to find my soul a home where water is not thirsty and bread loaf is not stone. I came up with one thing, and I don't believe I'm wrong, that nobody, but nobody, can make it out here alone. Alone, all alone, nobody but nobody can make it out here alone. There are some millionaires with money they can't use. Their wives run around like banshees. Their children sing the blues. got expensive doctors to cure their hearts of stone, but nobody can make it out here alone. Alone, all alone. Nobody but nobody can make it out here alone. Now, if you listen closely, I'll tell you what I know. Storm clouds are gathering. The wind is gonna blow. The race of man is suffering. And I can hear the moan, because nobody can make it out here alone. Alone, all alone, nobody but nobody can make it out here alone. This pose is beginner. Release the pose, inhale deep into the body, bring the right hand up to the sky, back down to the other side of the floor, the mat. Slowly lifting ourselves back up. Let's meet in the tabletop. Pulling this tabletop, feeling that rebounding in the body. Feeling for the sensations, reverberations of the previous pose. Letting the body soak up the benefits and the mind. Since we're still working on that right side, let's bring the right leg to the front. Knee over the ankle. And for just a brief moment, let's melt forward. Inhale. And exhale all the way back into a half split. With your half split, you bring your hands to the mat. Remember to prop yourself up in a position that's not your fullest expression of this pose. You want that to happen with time. Gravity and time. So you can see we're holding up the structure of the body. Muscles, fascia, ligaments will smell. Bones and the joints will also begin to heal. Find your breath traveling through the body. Another nice line out of the ball. Skip it or go for it. Let's go for it. Cage bird. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream to the current's end and dips his wing in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The cage bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still. And his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the cage bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on a dawn bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams. His shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on a distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. We've got just about a minute left in this pose. We can use to slowly begin to ease out of it, finding our way onto our palms, hip towards the mat, releasing. And once you find yourself somewhat on the ground and comfortable, wait just a moment, feel that rebounding. Let's begin to set up for the next pose. Very close to this is a reclined hero pose, Supta Virasana, where we have the two knees together. The left foot is out by our hips on the left side, right leg is straight, toes are softly flexed towards us. Your hands work their way towards the back. You can stay in this upright position, or you can come down to the forearms, or lay all the way down. Whatever your body allows here, remember we're going to be here for a few minutes. So if laying down is achievable but painful, it's not recommended in yin. You don't want the pain or discomfort to distract the mind's meditation. So for me, that means I'll be here like halfway. This is where I would normally stay in this pose. Because can I lay down in this pose? Yes, I can. Do I like it? Not really. So this is where you have to be honest with yourself, find your edges. Let's jump into our next little poem. Robert Frost, stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Great. Whose woods are these? Oh, let me start again. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in a village though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it's queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year, he gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sound is sweet of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Checking your breath, recommit. any strange sensations in the knee, the hips, shoulders. It's that blocking off and redirecting of energies in the body, the blood, synovial fluid. Just like a garden hose, when you kink it up, the water stops flowing. But when you open it up, remove the kinks, water comes flowing out stronger than before. That is the same thing we're doing in the body. It's one of the things that contributes to that yoga high that you feel really good after a yoga class. Yoga does work on so many different levels, not just the physical. Does anybody like pie? Pies, plural with an S. So a little trick to help us remember that yoga works with the physical, the intellect, emotional, and spiritual levels. I love pies. Especially pumpkin pie. Slowly begin to ease out of this pose. Release the left leg forward, join the right. Meaning for a moment in that Dandasana. Both legs forward, hands on the mat, feeling that rebounding. I really feel it after that one on my left knee. All the way to my left toes. Taking any extra movement, you can work it out. Stretching, pointing, flexing the feet, the rotation of one side and the other. Let's begin that same cycle on the other side. So now we'll start with that deer pose with the left shin forward, right knee behind the left foot. Adjust your hips, your stance here, your seat. Bring the right hand toward the left side, left hand up. And I like to feel for, if I hold my knee with my hand and see where you kind of like pivot between the two, just that sweet spot before if you release will fall over. And that's where my left hand leans toward the right side. Hold that. So we won't be in this pose for too long. It's a little uncomfortable. Got the left hand up in the sky. Shakespeare play, Macbeth. So in this one, Macbeth says that everything in life is a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Such strong language for a yoga class. But it makes sense in yoga. We talk about everything is kind of an illusion, not to take things too seriously. We and everyone we know is more than likely unenlightened. We're not perfect beings, so we are going to make mistakes. We are going to bring harm to others eventually. And the world we created with this lack of enlightenment is an illusion. So how does Shakespeare phrase this? Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day, to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle, life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Inhale the left hand up high to the sky. Exhale it down to the ground. Feel that rebounding for just a moment. Inhale and exhale or two. And that's set up for that half frog. Side on the left hand side. Right leg goes straight back. Left leg out start for just a moment with your arms straight as if we were in Cobra. Nice big inhale and exhale slowly, make your way down to those Sphinx arms on the forearms. Remember, don't go too deep in this pose yet. Let gravity and time take you there slowly. It is quite intense in the lower back. Right hip, left knee. There's a lot going on in a simple pose. Wherever you are, try to find as much stillness as you can. Almost at a good length. Dylan Thomas, do not go gentle into that good night. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage against the dying of the light. The wise men at their end know that the dark is right, because their words have forked no lightning. They do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last way by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in the green bay. Rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight, and learned too late they grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Brave men near death who see with blinding sight, blind eyes that blaze like meteors. Rage against the dying of the light. And you, my Father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage against the dying of the light. Wherever we are, let's prepare to release the pose. Inhale, looking up, straightening the arms, preparing to thread it through. Left arm is strong. Right hand to the side, under it through. Bring the right shoulder as much as we can towards the toward the floor. Seeing if your shoulder and your hip is in line. Left hand up to the sky, inhale, and exhale it down. Let it stop where it may. It doesn't have to reach the ground. Remember your options. You can bring your right hand, top of the left knee. Your left hand can catch the right foot. Wherever you are, try to feel gravity and time. Ease you further into this pose. weary. When to the sessions of sweet silent thought I summon up remembrance of things past, I sigh the lack of many a thing I sought, and with old woes, new wail, my dear times waste. Then can I drown an eye, unused to flow, for precious friends hid in death's dateless night, and weep afresh love's long since cancelled woe, and moan the expense of many a vanished sight. Then can I grieve at grievances foregone, and heavily from woe to woe tell over the sad account of fore bemoaned moan, which I knew pay, as if not paid before. But if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored, and sorrows end. Prepare to slowly kneeling tabletop. Bring the left hand back up to the sky. Inhale. Exhaling it down to the mat. Slowly working your way onto both hands and two knees. Waiting for a moment on the tabletop. Feel the rebounding of that powerful pose. Bring the left foot forward, stepping towards the front, knee over the ankle, go, and forward, inhale, and exhale the hips back, finding that half split. A comfortable form that you can hold for a few minutes here. Too deep into the pose. Mistress' eyes are nothing but the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damask red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant, I never saw a goddess go. My mistress she walks, treads on the ground. And yet by heaven, I think my love is rare, as any is she belied with false compare. Prepare the body, ease out of this pose, inhaling, finding your way into your left leg. Preparing for that right leg to be off to the right side. This half hero pose. You're ready to the hands back behind you. Find your most comfortable expression of this pose, given the fact you'll be here for a few minutes. Try to find as much stillness as you can in the body. Hopes that the mind will follow that stillness. Back to your breathing. Are you glowing like a firefly at the lights above us? Are you picturing the journey of the oxygen throughout the body? This one, let's go with sonnet number 116, a little reflection on the nature of love. Let me not to the marriage of true mind admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempest and is never shaken. It is a star to every wandering bark, whose worth is unknown, although its height be taken. Loves not time's fool, the rosy lips and cheeks, within his bending sickle, compass coming. Love alters not with its brief hours and weeks, but bears it out to the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me prove, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. Slowly, let's get out of this one. My right knee is asking for it. Oh boy. Slowly bring both feet together. Shake them out. Figure pattern. Any extra movement you need here. So normally in a power class, when we do the seated forward fold, we want to go as deep as you can. But not here. So maybe you start with your hands by the knees, just to remind us not to go too deep. Bringing the chest forward, stopping where the body wants you to stop. You can comfortably go a little more. Maybe bring the hands close to the feet, but just let the shoulders lose all their tension, the holding. My feet are flexed but soft. We'll be here for our next seated pose is caterpillar. So again, this seated forward fold is called caterpillar. Shakespeare play, as you like it. And we've all heard the first line of this. All the world is a stage. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. His acts being 7 ages. At first the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Then the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail, unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing like a furnace, with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths and beauty like a bard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubbled reputation, even in the cannon's mouth. And then justice, in fair round belly, with a good cap and line, his eyes severe, and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws, modern instances, and so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side. His youthful hose, well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shame, and his big manly voice turning again for a childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all, that ends the strange eventful history, a second childishness and mere oblivion, sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. Because I always used to remind my English classes what that meant. That means without. Without teeth, without eyes, without taste, without everything. Up the wall over the support of the block. The block can be either flat or you have it on its kind of side so it's angled for more comfort. Up to you. And the feet are kind of falling towards the face where they easily and naturally stay in place with minimal effort. And that's where we'll hold this pose. End with another Shakespeare classic from Hamlet, To Be or Not to Be. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against the sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep, by a sleep, to say we end the heartache, and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to, 'tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream, aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come? When we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of disprized love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear, to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country, from whose bourne no traveler returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have, than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscious does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sickled o'er with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment, with this regard their currents turn awry, and lose the name of action. Preparing to release from out this pose, bringing feet slowly back down to the mat. Lifting the hips to remove the block, and just sitting here with the legs bent, the knees bent, right? Feeling that reverberation one more time, the rebounding. Making our way to our final pose, straightening the legs into Shavasana, the pose we all know all too well in yoga, the best one. Find yourself in a comfortable Shavasana, eyes closed, hands by the side, palm facing up.
Drowsy numbness tames my sense, as though of hemlock I had drunk, or emptied some dull opiate to the drains 1 minute past, and leafy woods had sunk. 'Tis not through envy of thy happy lot, but being too happy in thine happiness, that thou, like winged dryad of the trees, in some melodious plot of beechen green and shadows numberless, singest of summer in full-throated ease. Oh, for a draught of vintage that hath been cooled a long age in the deep delved earth, tasting the flora and the country green, dance and Provençal song and sunburnt mirth. Oh, for a beaker full of the warm south, full of the true, the blushful hippocrene, with beaded bubbles winking at the brim, and purple stained mouth, that I might drink and leave the world unseen, and bid thee fade away into the forest dim. Fade far away, dissolve in quiet quite forget what thou among the leaves hast never known. The weariness, the fever, and the fret, here where men sit and hear each other groan, where palsy shakes a few sad last grey hairs, where youth grows pale and spectre thin and dies, where but to think is to be full of sorrow and leaden-eyed despairs, where beauty cannot keep her lustrous eyes, or new love pine at them beyond tomorrow. Away, away, for I will fly to thee, not charioted by Bacchus and his bards, but on the viewless wings of poesy, though the dull brain perplexes and retards. Already with thee, tender as the light, and haply the queen moon is on her throne, clustered around by all her starry fays. But here there is no light, save what from heaven is with the breezes blown through verdurous glooms and winding mossy ways. I cannot see what flowers are at my feet, nor what soft incense hangs upon the boughs, but in embalmed darkness guess each sweet wherewith the seasonable month endows the grass, the thicket, and the fruit tree wild. White hawthorn and the pastoral eglantine, fast fading violets covered up in leaves, and mid-May's eldest child, the coming musgrove, full of dewy wine, the murmurous haunt of flies on summer eves. Darkly I listen, and for many a time I have been half in love with easeful death, caught in soft names in many a mused rhyme, to take into the air my quiet breath. Now more than ever seems it rich to die, to cease upon the midnight with no pain, while thou art pouring forth thy soul abroad in such an ecstasy. Still wouldst thou sing, and I have ears in vain, to thy high requiem become a sod. Thou wast not born for death, immortal bird, no hungry generations tread thee down. The voice I hear this passing night was heard in ancient days by emperor and clown. Perhaps the self-same song found a path through the sad heart of Ruth, when, sick for home, she stood in tears amid the alien call. The same that oft times hath charmed magic casements, opening on the foam of perilous seas, in fairy lands forlorn. Forlorn, the very word is like a bell to toll me back from thee to my sole self. Adieu, the fancy cannot cheat so well as she is feigned to do, deceiving elf. Adieu, adieu, her plaintive anthem fades, past the near meadows, over the still stream, up the hillside, and now 'tis buried deep in the next valley glades. Was it a vision, or a waking dream? Fled is that music. Do I wake or sleep?
Inhale deep into the body, head to toe, every cell of the body. Moving our head from side to side. Bringing some intuitive movement to the fingers and toes. Then a few wrists and ankles. When you're ready, bring one foot onto the mat and then the other. You might want a windshield wiper, gently, slowly swaying the knees from side to side. Let's find some stillness, bring the knees into the chest, a gentle hug here, cultivating a sense of gratitude.